Hello, everyone. This is Professor Francis, and here we are with an algebra problem. These problems are requested by our students, so let's get started. Okay, so today, shortly in another video, we discussed, or I should say, in another video, we discussed the new number I. Now we remember, and let's refresh our memories, I equals square root of -1, right? So this is a method for dealing with square roots of negative numbers. Whenever we get a square root of negative number, we can simply factor out the square root of number -1 and represent it as I, right? So then we have, now today we're going to learn how to uh, deal with this form of A plus BI, where we have two different terms, two different types of numbers. We have a real number, right? So A represents the real part of the number, and we have an imaginary part. These are two different terms. We can't add them together, all right? Can't add, A with a BI, okay? The imaginary part includes an I, some value multiplied by I, right? So this whole number, this whole system here is called a complex number. I'll put that up here. Complex number, right? When you have a combination of a real part and an imaginary part, right? And again, the complex portion is sometimes used when we're taking the square root of a negative number. We don't want to use square roots. We can represent that square root of a negative number in I format, right? Where we factor out a negative I and -1 and replace it with I. So let's see how this works. Okay, so they want us to write each of these numbers in form A plus BI, right? If we put the A plus BI here as kind of like a model, we can see that we already have the real part, right? This -9 subtract, that's all real part. So we don't have to do anything with that part. However, the BI part, we have a square root of a negative number. So we have to convert this square root of negative number into I format, meaning we're getting rid of the square root of the negative and we're having an I replace that. So let's go ahead and do that. And if you remember, it was just three simple steps. All we did was we factored underneath. And so we're going to step over here. We're going to do this to this part here only, because this is the only part that we have to convert to I format to get it in this format of A plus BI. So we're going to take this number over here, leaving everything else alone, the real part alone, and we're going to factor out the negative, right? So it's going to be 49 times -1. We're going to do that underneath the radical symbol, and then we're going to be able to separate these two factors. As long as we keep them under the radical symbol, they're okay. So square root of 49 times, and under its own radical symbol, square root of -1. So now we can go ahead and simplify. Square root of 49 is 7. And the square root of -1, as we know, is our new number, is I. So square root of -49 is equivalent to 7I. And we can go in and replace that square root of -49 with the 7I to put it in this A plus BI format. So we go ahead and do that, and this is our answer. Okay. So now let's go ahead and try and just get a little more practice in doing this. All right. Again, we're going to look at this number 2, and we see that we have the real part, -45 minus that also the real part. So we're just going to bring that down. We don't have to do anything to that, right? But this part here, the square root of a negative number, we have to convert that to I format like we did before. We're just going to factor underneath the radical. So it's going to be 36, -36 equals 36 times a -1, right? And then we're going to separate these factors. Square root of 36 times the square root of -1. And then we're going to simplify each of these factors. Square root of 36 is 6, and square root of -1 is I. So now we have converted this square root of a -36 into I format of 6I, and we can go ahead and plug it in and replacement of that square root of -36. And that is an A plus BI format, and that is our answer. All right. And this is how we do this. So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next question. Have a great day.